Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to watch The Graduate, 1967. I have seen The Graduate before. I've seen it 4 or 5 times. The first time was in college. The second time was to actually create this YouTube channel, and I did all the editing, I did everything, but I just didn't like how it turned out. So I basically scrapped it um, for that reason. I just didn't like the content that I produced for it and the commentary for it. The second or the third was with Josh, but the problem with that was uh, our internet kept disconnecting from each other. So it was hard for me to get his commentary on stuff that he had seen about the movie. So that's out. Um, and then the fourth time was just kind of on my own because I was kind of bored and wanted something to watch at that point in time. So just like you were watching stuff casually, flipping through your TV and or web service, I should say, nowadays. Dustin Hoffman's in it, and I know that this movie is recognized very, very well for its editing. That was the assignment in school we actually had to watch because of its editing, so that's why um, I've seen it before. So yeah, that's kind of my knowledge about The Graduate. I really do like this film. Um, so without any further ado, guys, let's actually just get into The Graduate. The Graduate. I think he's on an escalator, and so what it's doing is it's putting text up against the wall while he's actually moving on an escalator without actually have to do the animation to make it move. It's kind of ingenious, I think.
Dad, could you explain to them that I have to be alone for a while?
Sounds like William Daniels. I know him as the teacher from Boy Meets World.
I guess about my future.
Was he in Blue Lagoon as well? He doesn't seem to want
Captain of the cross-country team, head of the debating club, associate editor of the college newspaper in his junior year, managing editor in his senior.
I do like that door slam. It cut the audio as soon as the door was closed.
Oh, I guess this isn't the bathroom, is it?
Sort of disturbed about things.
In general.
That's right.
Yep. Probably about his where's life's going after he just graduated college. Kind of been there.
My husband took the car. Will you drive me home?
Do you know how to work a foreign shift?
But a lot of people don't know how to drive a stick shift now, whether it be porn or not. I imagine some people out there still do, but I would imagine that the large majority doesn't know nowadays how to drive a stick shift.
Benjamin, I'm sorry to be this way, but I don't want to be left alone in this house.
Why not? Are you always this much afraid of being alone?
Yes.
Oh, no, Mrs. Robinson, oh, no.
What's wrong?
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
There's the famous line.
Have you ever seen Elaine's portrait?
Elaine, that's her name.
Elaine certainly is an attractive girl, isn't she?
Benjamin, I am not trying to seduce you.
I disagree.
Would you like me to seduce you?
What?
What?
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Wait a minute. If this is Elaine's room, then why is there an R right above the bed? Oh, duh. The last name is Robinson. Never mind that. That was a stupid comment to make.
Don't be nervous.
Get away from that
I
door.
want to say something first. If you won't sleep with me this time, I want you to know that you can call me up anytime you want.
We follow his eyes as they go down. We flash towards Mrs. Robinson. Interesting artistic choice.
How old are you now?
20. I'll be 21 next week.
Yeah, the laws are not 21 in the 60s, which Josh was kind of surprised to find out, but I kind of knew that from just talking to my parents and instructors about how they would go across state lines to get beer, even though in some states it was like 18 or 19, In some states, it was like 21.
So a few wildos. Take things as they come.
You're gonna regret that decision.
You look to me like the kind of guy who has to fight them off.
Yes, he does.
So why do we hang on her?
Where are you?
The Taft Hotel.
Why did he do this? Just something to do, I guess. He shows up in the class.
Oh, hello.
Have you gotten us a room yet?
I haven't, no.
Or we could just talk. He's so uncomfortable.
Why don't you watch?
Oh, sure, thank you.
Oh, sure, thank you.
Mrs. Robinson, I can't do this.
It is your first time.
That's a laugh, Mrs. Robinson. That's really a laugh.
To be inadequate in one.
Ooh, total gaslight. Can't look at him, can you? Doing what you're doing. I like how we zoom out and he's in a different location to show the passage of time. This one's kind of my favorite one because of the match composition right there and the match shot.
There's something we could have a conversation about. Your husband.
Why? That's the last thing I would want to be talking about if I was sleeping with Mrs. Robinson.
You didn't have to marry him or anything, did you?
She did have to marry him
Oh, no, you had to marry him because you got pregnant.
with Elaine.
What kind of car was it?
What?
What? Why would you want to know that?
So old Elaine Robinson got started in a Ford.
Talk about Elaine.
Yep, don't talk about Elaine. Don't talk about Elaine.
I'm not good enough to even talk about her, am I?
Yep, according to him, that's the reason. I just realized, does she have on fake eyelashes? I think she does.
Yes.
I'm not proud that I spend my time with a broken down alcoholic.
Ooh.
You lie there and tell me I'm not good enough for your daughter.
Did I say that?
In so many words.
Benjamin, I want to apologize to you if that's the impression you got. I didn't mean it. I don't think you'd be right for each other.
I enjoy it. I look forward to it. It's the one thing I have to look forward to.
He knows it's wrong, and yet when we see him make the wrong choice, or what a normal person would consider to be the wrong choice, he's in dark lighting.
For Christ's sake, I promise I'll never take out Elaine Robinson.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Otherwise, the second half of this movie can't happen.
Elaine's back from school. I think it might be a nice gesture if you asked her out.
They're really pushing for that, and we don't really get a reason why they are. I like that
Your wife
pushing
say what?
on
Patty DeValley.
Miss Robinson here. She's not happy about this at all.
Thought I made myself perfectly clear about this. I'm extremely upset about it, Benjamin.
Why don't you watch the show?
Benjamin, do you dislike me for some reason?
No.
Yeah.
Idea, this date and everything. It was my parents' idea. They forced me into it.
Yeah, they kind of did, but that doesn't make her feel any better.
Listen, could you just stop crying, please?
No, I couldn't.
And this is part of the movie. This has always baffled me. The kiss at the end of that scene. How does that work?
I'm trying to think of where there's a place to have a drink around here.
Isn't there one at the Taft Hotel? What is the matter?
Okay, some truth time here. Some major shit coming out.
Elaine, I like you. I like you so much. The first person I could stand to be with.
Benjamin, are you having an affair with someone?
How did she pick that up?
It was just this thing that happened along with everything else.
Nothing just happens.
Was she married or something?
Yes.
Things just don't happen for no reason.
And it's all over now?
Yes.
I'm glad.
You are not to see Elaine again, ever. In order to keep Elaine away from you, I am prepared to tell her everything.
The older woman that I told you about?
You mean that
Yes,
one?
the married.
Yes, that was your mom. The look of disbelief on her face as we go back into focus.
No. Get out! Get out! Out! Goodbye, Benjamin.
I love this shot right here. Elaine.
I'm going to marry Elaine Robinson.
You talked to Elaine this morning?
No, she doesn't know.
She doesn't know about it.
Well, what makes you think she wants to marry you?
She doesn't. To be perfectly honest, she doesn't like me.
Yep. At this one time, yep. And I love the toasted reference there. He's toast for trying to do this. So that's a beautiful shot right there. Zoom in on the statue between the two parts.
Well, how about this for a coincidence? Where are you meeting this person?
At the zoo. Benjamin, I would like to know what you're doing here.
I've been getting to some classes.
But you're not enrolled. Benjamin, you're
Unbelievable.
really incredible. I want to ask you a question and then I'm going. Is it because I'm here?
Yes.
How could you possibly rape my mother?
What?
I don't want to hear this!
Good.
That's not good.
Damn it, look.
She's fine.
Here she is having some water.
I'm sorry I screamed. When you came up here, what did you think was going to happen between us?
He's not really had much of a plan for the entire movie about what he's gonna do.
I don't want you to go anywhere. Until you have a definite plan. Benjamin,
What?
How did you get a key for this place?
will you kiss me?
Will you marry me?
I might.
How about tomorrow? I don't mean to be pushy.
I don't see how we can.
But what does she mean that she's that they don't know if they can or not? Are there special rules in order to get married?
I have to see Carl first.
Carl who? Why do you have to see him?
Well, I said I might marry him.
You what?
You what?
I do think you should know the consequences of what you've done. I do think you should know that my wife and I are getting a divorce soon.
Just as well have been shaking hands.
Shaking hands.
Shaking hands. Yep.
The point is, I don't love your wife, I love your daughters, sir.
I think you are filth. I think you are scum. You are a degenerate.
Elaine Robinson has left school.
I
Dear
think this
Benjamin,
is
please forgive me, because I
very
know what I'm
interesting
doing is the
here.
best thing for you. My father is so upset. You've got to understand. I love you, but it would never work out.
Elaine?
Hello, Benjamin.
Nope, Mrs. Robinson.
Where's Elaine?
Sorry we won't be able to invite you to the wedding, Benjamin, but the arrangements have been so rushed.
Hey, where's the Maycock King getting married? Santa Barbara!
Santa Barbara. I'm kind of interested in to know how they got this shot for this right here, because they're actually on a highway. I do believe. My guess is they had somebody follow them in a truck behind them and do it that way. You just follow like you know, following somebody to a house or whatever when you have like tons of guests and they don't know where they're going, but you do. So you just have them follow you. And I think they just did that with the camera.
Allen Street, where is it? It's 6 blocks up and 3 over.
So, not that you guys could hear it because I probably have muted. But as the car slows down, the music slows down and has eventually stopped now that he's on the side of the road, not moving. I think that's a cool little touch, and cool little artistic touch. And it goes silent. To Mrs. Robinson's point, it's not too late because I believe they haven't signed the marriage papers yet. I love this right here because as time goes on, we see the smile fade. They realize what Mrs. Robinson had said about her and her husband who eloped after having Elaine and basically was forced to get married to Elaine's parents. Elaine's father. This is one of my favorite movies due to all the artistic choices. Seeing William Daniels again, but at that young of an age, I think he's like in his 40s in this movie, and it's just mind-boggling because I believe he was in his 60s or 70s, I believe, like when Boy Meets World started. So it's kind of jarring to see him like 30 years younger than when he started in Boy Meets World. The famous line, which is Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. And she just laughs. It's kind of iconic. The more and more I see this, not that the movie needs it, I just kind of want to know a little bit of Elaine's perspective on this whole situation because her mom told Mrs. Robinson told her about the affair, but only her side of the story. So what made her change her mind to go with Ben? Um, again, not that the story needs it. It would just be a nice thing to know. It would be a nice little story element there. That's not really relative for the plot to happen, but still kind of nice to know what her thoughts and feelings are on the subject and what made her decide that he was telling her the truth about her mother, which also brings into question the mother and daughter's relationship. It doesn't seem that very strong to begin with, but then again, we only have really Ben's perspective on this. If we spend any more time with Miss Robinson or any other characters, we would have their perspective on it more than we do just Ben's. Elaine's father in this, I really like his performance. I I want to know more. I want to see more from that actor because every time I watch that actor, he does such a good job in this movie of delivering his lines that it makes me want to look up what else he has done and also what Dustin Hoffman has done. Mrs. Robinson, I wonder what her main motivation was for picking out Ben to begin with, just a little bit. But he found his purpose in that was, to marry Elaine. Do I think the relationship's gonna last due to that in shot there where the smile from both characters fades? Probably not, because like I said there at the very end, they're doing exactly what Mr. and Mrs. Robinson did when Mrs. Robinson got pregnant with Elaine. It's been, what, 60 years? Fictional characters. I hope that they did make it. It would be kind of interesting to see if they did, but you're never going to get that movie, Graduate 2, because that would have had to happen in like the 80s in order to see that. And this movie, again, doesn't need, uh, I say again, what I mean by that is a lot of these movies that I watch don't have sequels to them. And you know why? Because they don't need them. Because they're that good that they don't need a sequel to answer questions or follow up on stuff. That's just my personal preference. And that's just my opinion. It leaves questions for you to think about, although not too serious. It's just something that can be made up in your head one day when you're walking like, huh, I wonder what would happen if we did see that stuff. Just like I just said, I wonder if these two characters stay together. And it's just something fun to ponder. Now, there's never going to be a sequel, but questions like that where it's just fun to ponder about, it's very, very interesting because your version would differ from mine, uh, either in small ways or very, very large ways, depending on what you got out of the film. Because no two people go, no two people look at the film the same way. And that's why I love film. Certain expectations, and those expectations are either met or they're not met, but each person has their own different set of expectations when they view a film. And that's why it's fun to talk about and give constructive and constructive criticism to these films, just because of how each and every person um, goes to a film come goes to a film and comes out of a film differently differently impacted how the person viewed that film. That's always interesting to me. Basically, when Mr. Robinson poured Benjamin a drink, he said he was 20. So it's something else to ponder. It's just for me is just when did that rule change? That's kind of interesting. I'm guessing somewhere in the 80s, because if you watch that 70s show, it was still in effect in the 70s. So, where you could go to different states and you could basically get around drinking laws. One that I keep going back to every now and then, just because it's such a change of pace from today's media that it just feels nice to visit something that, it's like going back in time and just watching how things were and how things was, um, from the standpoint of how the laws have changed and how talkative or more willing to help people out, or so it seems that way in films. I should say that on that first date for where Benjamin takes her to basically a gentleman's club, and that's what got him to change his mind is when Benjamin saw Elaine crying, uh, Elaine crying and stuff, because at the at that point in time he was basically doing what Mrs. Robinson asked, and as soon as he seen her cry, he changed his mind, changed his entire tune, which is another sticking point with me, which is why I didn't understand this, and I still don't understand this kind of, and I keep watching, I keep going back to that scene in my head about why did Elaine kiss him? Doesn't make much sense to me, but maybe you guys could explain that to me down in the comments below, because I still don't understand the importance of that scene besides Ben telling Elaine that he's sorry, but why did she have the reaction to kiss him um after he said he was sorry? That doesn't that doesn't make sense to me. Or am I just thinking about it too much and I should just kind of shut up and enjoy the movie? Enjoy the movie, and it's a movie and it's not supposed to be taken, seriously. At least that part of it's not supposed to be taken seriously. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what you guys think of my reaction. Let me know what your overall opinion um of the movie and my reaction to this film. Let me know if there's anything I had missed that you wanted me to talk about, and we can talk about it in the comments below. Um, yeah, this is just a really good movie, and I wish everyone would sit down and watch this movie, because I think it's to me, it's like a cult classic. It's like one for the ages. It's up there in the culture zeitgeist as far as I'm concerned, and everyone should watch this movie before they die. Like everyone has that list of movies that you have to watch before you die. And for me, this is one of those movies you have to watch before you die. That does it for me. Again, thank you for joining me for this reaction. And do like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys.